There is one thing I know, that when your petition or your prayer request is driven by a wrong motive, that type of petition will not move heaven or have access to the throne of grace. You see, asking God to search our heart to reveal or remove any impurity requires maturity. I say that again. Asking God to search our hearts to reveal or remove any impurity requires maturity. The book of James 4:2-3. He said, you desire, but you do not have, so you kill. You covet, but you cannot get what you want, so you quarrel and fight. You do not have because you do not ask God. When you ask, you do not receive because you ask with wrong motive, that you may spend what you get on your pleasure. If we are being honest, a lot of us are selfish. Our world promotes self. We live in a dog-eat-dog, every man for himself society. Nobody cares about other anymore. We only cares about ourselves. Everyone wants to be great, but we are doing it at a cost of tearing others down. We can all be selfish. Selfish is rooted in our sinful nature. First thing that must take place in leadership training before placing someone in a leadership position is to beat the self-ambition out of them. But this is difficult. It is difficult. Every leader will be tempted to operate in selfishness. In one way or the other, we are all going to be tempted to do what we think is best for us instead of what is best for the team or what is best for the organization. We will be tempted to do things that glorifies and honor us instead of God. We are going to be tempted to promote, to elevate ourselves, walk in pride, and make names for ourselves. This is just the way human beings are. Satan will get you tired and impatient with doing things God's way, that you will want to start doing things your own way. The Bible talks about the temptation of the world, lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. We will be tempted to convert others, and we will desire to gain more material things. We will be tempted to want power, title, recognition, fame. These are the temptations that we all face. You see, we are tempted daily to manipulate or tear down others so that we can advance or move forward in life. It is a battle of selfishness. It is your motive will reveal the kind of person you are in terms of whatever you do. Whatever project that you execute, the way you do things if we use a stethoscope to look at it, we'll be able to know whether it is a motive that is benefiting self, or is a motive that is according to the will of God. We need to always check our motive to see why we are doing what we are doing. Many of us are doing the right things, but we are doing it for the wrong reasons. We need to check our motives. You see, God isn't concerned about your action as He is with those intentions behind it. God is concerned about why we do what we do. God cares less about the good works you do. He is concerned about your motive. Your motive is your motivation behind what you do. And God is looking at the motivation. He looks at what prompted you to do what you did. Man look at the outside, but God looks at the inside. The heart is what matters. People pay attention to what you do, but God is looking at your heart. The book of Proverbs 16:2. It says, people may be pure in their own eyes, but the Lord examines their motive. You may think what you are doing is good, but your motive aren't right. The deed is dead. I say that again. What you are doing may look right, but the motive behind it, if it is not right, what you are doing is insignificant and it cannot be acknowledged by heaven. The book of Jeremiah, it said 17:9, it said, tell us that the heart is deceitful. You can't trust your heart. We can be fooled by our motives. We can pretend and act like we are serving God and trying to help others. But God knows that if selfishness lies beneath the surface, God can discern the thought and the intention of our hearts. You see, our selfishness hinders the hands of God. God is not blessing us and what we do when we are operating in selfishness. Selfishness stops your prayer from being answered. Even Jesus tells us to be careful to practice your righteousness in the front of others, to be seen by them. If you do, you will have no reward from your Father in heaven. So God is looking at your motive. It is your motive that is important. Your motives are serious to Him. If you are doing the right thing for the right reason, that is the service. If you are doing the right things for the wrong reason, that is selfishness. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourself, not looking to your own interest, but each of you to be interest of the others. The book of Philippians 2:3 verse 4. So we must check our motives. We must be careful in order not to be doing the right things for the wrong reasons. How do we check our motives? You must ask yourself some hard questions. Am I doing things to be recognized or seen to be loved by others? If no one expresses appreciation or rewarded me for the things I do, will I continue to do it? Will I do whatever God asks me, even if it seems minor, low, or insignificant? If criticism and attack are launched against me for what I am doing, will I quit? Do I manipulate others to get my way? Am I always me or I-centered? Am I only in it when there is something for me? These are critical questions that we must ask ourselves when we are dealing with God. We must ask God to search us. When He searches us, He will reveal the motive in our hearts. He exposes the conditions of our heart so that He can help you correct it. We must be sincere when we are doing things. Our motive must be thoroughly be examined. It must be according to the will of God. It must be for God to be glorified and not self to be glorified. Hallelujah.